out of all the issues that Sabres fans want to point to and say, this is why this is the way it is, whether it's coaching, whether it's the general manager, whether it's the owner. I've laid out a lot of different takes on this, and I've put some things out there to the fans of these beloved Buffalo Sabres. And I'll tell you this, I am from Buffalo. I'm a 716 guy. I've always been, I always will be, but anytime I've ever traveled, I always represent the 716. I always wear my Bills gear, my Sabres gear. I'm a Buffalo guy. I always will be. No matter where I go in life, no matter what journey this life takes me, no matter what job I may potentially have in sports in another city or anything like that, I will always be a Buffalo guy. And for that, I have noticed throughout my years, throughout my time of traveling and everything, these last 4 or 5 years especially, Buffalo fans travel really well. They really do. And their teams, they're these two pro teams, these two pro franchises, the Bills and the Sabres. They have not rewarded the fan base properly. They have not given the fan base what they deserve, and that is winning. Two teams combined have 0 Stanley Cups and or Super Bowls. And it sucks. And this current state of the Sabres, I think, is far underachieving. The arrow is just kind of pointed up, and now it's plummeted down. Or with the Bills, it's like, yeah, we're down, we're in the middle, we're trending up, I feel. There's a lot of optimism around the Bills, more than the Sabres, and there was a lot of optimism talent-wise on the Sabres that they just haven't achieved what they are capable of. And of all the things that I know for a fact, the one layer of this season that really has been talked about but hasn't been talked about in some aspects is the fact that Jack Eichel was given the C on his jersey this year, finally. In the words of Evander Kane, the former Sabre, they should have done that a few years ago. That was Evander Kane's take on the subject. Well, he was given the C. He's known as their franchise player. But has he been that franchise leader that you would expect from a guy that has the C on his sweater? And in my opinion, I can't say yes, I can't say no, which is just as bad as saying yes or no, not knowing whether Jack Eichel has been that franchise leader. The results don't look too good. I can tell you that. The results are not great. The results are not rewarding. The results are not redeeming at all. I can say that. And when I do watch these post-game interviews or pre-game interviews, or I do see certain things of Jack Eichel being on TV or advertising or anything like that, I just get the feeling that he's kind of sick of this. He's kind of frustrated with the whole situation and just has this negative attitude that I don't really appreciate from a captain, that I don't really respect. And I hate to say it in those two ways, appreciate or respect, but I'm just being honest. As I said, I watch these post-game interviews quite often, and one guy that is nowhere near wearing an A, let alone nowhere near wearing a C, to the casual fans or even to the hardcore fans, that guy says far more than what Jack Eichel says to the media. Jack Eichel's very short. He's very cutthroat. He's very angry. Guy's a real temper when he's losing, and that does show that he's competitive. But is that leadership? Is that what a leader is? A guy that reacts angrily to losing? That's not the definition of a leader. Let's do this. Let's look up the definition of a leader. Let's look that up. The person who leads or commands a group organization, or country. So let's look up the word leadership. Leadership. Has Jack Eichel shown leadership? The action of leading a group of people or an organization. Guidance, direction, authority, control, management, superintendence, supervision. The state of position of being a leader. Headship. Obviously. Mastery. Sovereignty. I mean, we're getting into political terms, obviously, here, but is Jack Eichel a leader? Has he shown leadership? Yes or no? I'm going to ask Twitter. I'm going to ask Facebook. I'm going to ask Instagram. Has Jack Eichel been a leader in 2018? I'm unsure of that. And I think there's plenty of room for him to grow. Obviously, he's still a very young player in this league. Obviously, he's still a guy that will be an elite player, has all the goods, is good, is potentially going to be great. But I just haven't seen that facet of his game develop in the way that I would like to. We're talking about him now, we, not me, but what I hear, the chatter I hear, is as if we're talking about him as a rookie, is as if we're talking about him as someone that's new. This is not new. Him being on the Buffalo Sabres is not new. He's been on this team for multiple seasons now. He knows his role. He knows he's the franchise. He knows that, yeah, win or lose, the onus is going to fall on him. Whether they win or whether they lose, he's going to get credit for victories. He's going to get criticism for losses. And he should. That's what comes with the territory of wearing that C on your sweater. And there have been interviews I've seen of Jack where he reacts to certain things the right way, but then there's been interviews where I see Sam Reinhart say something to the tune of, yeah, our goalies are not playing well. They're not playing for our defense. Our defense is not playing for our goaltenders. Our goaltenders are being hung out to dry. And then I see Jack Eichel talk about his own game and not really understanding the overall surrounding of the team. I don't get a sense that he gets what's really going on right now. And if he doesn't know what's going on right now, how should the fans know what's going on right now? I really feel like the Sabres are just a dumbfounded team at this point. They don't know why they're losing. They know why. They say it. But they don't know how to fix it. And that's scary. It's scary, the idea that Jack Eichel could go into next season with his third head coach. Is Jack Eichel a quote-unquote coach killer? I certainly hope not, because if he is, the Buffalo Sabres are going nowhere. These are questions that people are not willing to ask. These are questions that some people have towed the line or dipped their toes in the water, if you will, of asking these questions, but they just won't ask them because Jack Eichel's played statistically well. And he's going to play statistically well because he is a good, potentially great player in this league. I'd say he's good right now. He hasn't earned the right, to me, to be great. Neither is McDavid. You're not great until you're a champion, in my opinion. So that is just how I see this situation. Do they have a leader? I don't know. And the tagline is what it is. They don't, in my opinion, I don't see the leadership that I would see from Chris Drury or Jason Pominville or Danny Briere. I haven't seen that from Jack yet. I don't know if it's a maturity thing. I don't know if it's a personality trait. But he's not going to get that C taken off his jersey anytime soon. That we know for damn sure. And he has to change that. Whatever doubts he has allowed other people to have about his leadership ability, that's got to change. I do see him interact with guys on the ice, but then there's times on the ice where I see he tries to do too much or he plays kind of lazy in certain defensive aspects of the game where it gets gritty, where it gets tough. Jack Eichel's just kind of out there looking for the offensive play. Is he an all-around hockey player? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I'm asking them. What do you think, Sabres fans? Let me know in the comments section below. Is Jack Eichel a leader to you at this point? Take care, everybody. I'm Ryan Thomas. That concludes tonight's episode of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Thomas Take. You can follow me on Facebook by going to the Facebook.com/Thomas Takeover. Not here to take part. I'm here to take over. It's been a fun 3 years hosting this podcast for you, One Buffalo, for you, the Buffalo sports fans. I cannot wait to continue to give you guys great content. You guys have a nice night. If you're driving home, listen to me at work. Listen to me on your way home from work. Drive safe. Stay warm. Stay blessed. Take care, everybody.